Hi guys, I'm in the studio here in Basel. Beautiful studio, um, high ceiling, and it's a really nice place here. I really like it. So I wanted to respond to a question that I get asked frequently, um, and this time Carolyn asked me. Hi Carolyn, I hope you're great. So she has asked me, she was wondering whether she should start with Yogasanas or Angamardana, or even she's considering to do Surya Kriya. So these three practices are the kind of practices that most people start with when doing Isha Hatha yoga. And sometimes people get confused which one to do first. What are the benefits of each? What's the time commitment of each that requires each? And for whom, in what situation should you start with what? I understand it can get overwhelming. And well, the thing is, it really depends on where you are and where you want to go, basically. Okay, these two things, like so often, right? When you decide on a tool, you need to know like what's the purpose of it, what do you want to achieve, and what are the other factors. So I would say, Angamardana is really a very physically intense kind of practice. Okay, so um, it involves, it's like also called like the yogic ultimate yogic fitness system. All right, so it's kind of a fitness system, but it doesn't just exercise on the muscles, but it's a very holistic exercise system which especially also activates the energy system. It works very intensively on our joints, and in yoga they say that the joints are the points in our body where there's a very high intensity of energy nodes. So by working with the joints, we can bring a whole, you know, we can revitalize the whole body. So still, it's more on the physical side, and it's more towards physical well-being. And Sadhguru says, you do Angamardana because you don't want that your body is a hurdle in your life. You just want to be completely at ease in your body, and you want to be able to use your body in any way you want. So that's the kind of potential that Angamardana has. And well, if you practice Angamardana, it will take you probably anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes daily. So it's a kind of a commitment, but that goes with all the practices that you need to make. Without any commitment, no benefits, okay? If anybody is going to tell you anything else, I would say they are a liar. Because if you have achieved anything in life, it takes commitment. So the next thing is Surya Kriya. Surya Kriya is a much more subtler process, and it's a kind of a dynamic, Kriya, which it's a hybrid between asana and kriya, in the sense that it involves the body and movements with the body and certain postures, which are done very slowly, and you stay there for some time. But then it also includes that breathing technique, a special way of breathing, and that's the kriya part of it. So it's, in a nutshell, a much more subtler process, and it has a much more higher focus on the inside than Angamardana. So if you wanna, if you are more eager to go towards the spiritual direction, then Surya Kriya would definitely be an interesting option. But sometimes I even recommend people, hey, you can do Angamardana before Surya Kriya or even in combination, because it will help you. Angamardana is also creating that very strong physical foundation so that you can do other asanas and hatha yoga practices easier, because it gives you a level of flexibility and fitness. So it becomes easier to do Surya Kriya and Yogasanas when you do Angamardana as well, because the postures will be easier for you. So that's also something to keep in mind. And So Yogasanas is similar to Surya Kriya in the sense it's not similar, but it has that same inward focus, and it's more it's a much slower process. So you hold different posture in a very still way, and the idea is that every posture, has a certain impact on the body and the energy system, and there's a whole science behind it, why you hold the posture like that and why you hold it in a certain sequence. So you should not hold like just a random asana without doing another asana before. There's a whole way they have laid it out in the yogic tradition, and they have, realized how the human body and the human system works. So Yogasanas is really, the kind of practice that you should work towards. If you really, want to get like if you really want to get serious about like your inner journey and your spiritual development, then Yogasanas is where you should ultimately aim at. It takes also a little bit more commitment in terms of how much time you have to invest, okay? So it might not necessarily be the best way to start. There's nothing wrong with starting with Yogasanas, but if you want to gradually go into it, then you would start with Angamardana or Surya Kriya, and then after that you would do Yogasanas. So these are kind of the differences or the kind of guideposts you can use when deciding which of the three to take, okay? But ultimately it's a very superficial way at looking at it still, and there's obviously much more to it, but this is kind of if you want to get an idea. Ultimately I feel that there's something, if we're really thirsty and we want to grow in that direction in our lives, then we will anyway have some guidance, whether that's a guru that's coming up. For me, Sadhguru came, and somehow it all fell into place. I mean, I just did all the practices anyway, I learned all the programs. But even if you want to pick one, you can use those as a guidepost and see. Ultimately all of them have a very high potential, but you can take those and decide based on that. Alright, I hope this helped a little bit to clarify which of these practices you want to start with when you want to do Isha Hatha Yoga. I'm more than happy to share more with you. If you have questions, just leave a comment below. Please hit the like button if you like the video, and also subscribe to the channel down here, and there's this alert button. You should activate it so that you get notified about my new weekly videos, which I upload every week. Alright guys, if you have any questions, comments, ideas, please leave a comment below, and I am very happy to see you again next week. Thank you guys, bye.